an early monthly catch-up video. What?
You never played Tuber Simulator.
July is coming to an end. I thought I probably won't watch any new stuff in the next 2 or 3 days, so I just thought I'd just make this video earlier. Why not? If you don't know, or if you're new to this channel, thank you for being here. And the premise of this video that I do monthly is that to wrap up everything that I watched and then suggest and then recommend to you guys in 4 categories. And you know, if you're interested, you can go check them out yourself. Really, it's just to put them under your radar, because maybe I would think all movies should be watched at least. So put them under your radar so that you know how to watch it, whether you should wait it or you should go to the theater or must watch. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. First, we have the stock it list. These are the films or show that I think you should put it away, stock it, and just wait until you have nothing else to watch, then you can pick it up. It's not that important to watch it right away, so just wait for it, and then, you know, when you want to watch it, then go ahead. The first one being Child's Play, the movie that I never thought would happen, but somehow you can make a horror franchise in 2019. As long as you can milk those box office out in this motherfucker in that opening weekend, there's no reason to not make it. Child's Play is one of that. I think the doll, the remake of the doll, it looks kind of bad. I think they really should just stick with the original. I have nothing against changing, but this change is just not towards the good direction. So I thought the original doll looks good. No one is bitching about it, so why not just stick with the original? But this is overall that type of movie where you're just trying to get that cheap thrill or cheap scare out of the audience, and the dialogue is basically entry level. There's really nothing much to it. They could have done much more rewrites, but I guess they just didn't bother. There are also a lot of script inconsistencies in there because, for example, our kid, there's the main character, our kid, his friends just appeared out of nowhere apparently, and they all care about this kid for some reason. And I just found myself checking my watch a lot when I was watching this movie. The performances are the strong part, like Aubrey Plaza and the kid. They're all pretty good. The voice is good, but it's just the script that doesn't really work for me, and also the look of the doll. Next one, we have The Wandering Earth. It's a Chinese film, and it's on Netflix right now. And apparently, it's the highest grossing movie in China this year so far. It's like worldwide, it's maybe top 5 or top 10. It's crazy. And we get to stream it on Netflix in America. But here's the thing. I don't like this movie. I thought this movie is boring. The concept is somewhat intriguing and interesting, and it's based on a book. It's based on a book that I heard people talking about it. They're remaking it. It's basically a trilogy, I believe, but the premise of this movie is that Earth is coming to an end, and the Earth basically just stopped spinning, and everyone on Earth just built this motor type of thing and tries to push Earth out of the solar system towards Jupiter, so that they can get more resource. But and again, this is just the first part of the trilogy, because it ends at a point where it's definitely gonna have a sequel, considering how much money it made from in the box office in China. Here's the thing, I don't like a single character in this one. The main character is Az. This character has a sister. This sister doesn't have any character whatsoever. I guess she just doesn't follow social norms, and that's her character basically. Everyone in this film is a quirk. This guy can speak English. That guy is a little bit funny. This guy smokes a lot. That's their characters, and a lot of subplots and things that are just abandoned halfway through. But I think I watched this movie based on the respect out of the box office, and that's why I watched it. And the special effect, the special effect overall, how much money they spend on the special effect, it's insane. But it doesn't look that good. I gotta be honest. There are some scenes that looks pretty good, but most of the scenes, they look really cheap. They look really, really cheap, to a point where CGI is so heavy that you can't invest with the world that they're building. So you are kind of detached from the story itself, and that is the biggest problem with the Wandering Earth. And that's what I'm gonna leave it. Next one, we have the stream it list. These are the films that I think you should watch it at home. You can stream it, you can rent it, anyhow, just watch it at home. I think that's probably the best way you can enjoy it. The first one is Black Mirror Season 5. I was looking forward for this one because I am a fan of Black Mirror. First season I really loved. Fourth season was pretty good. The second season, not so good. But overall, I really like what Black Mirror is doing. It's the most ambitious show that I've ever seen. So obviously I'm really excited for 5. I thought the 5 was kind of weak. It's definitely on the weaker end on the spectrum. It has 3 episodes. Each episode is longer than usual, at least 60 minutes at least. And I thought the first episode, Viping Strikers or Striking Vipers, I don't know what it's called. The first episode it's the best, probably the best out of the season. And the second one is called Smithereens. It's just this guy trapped in a car, and he just kidnapped this guy, and you begin to know why. And it just quickly turned into this spoon-fed fest where they keep trying to tell you the danger of technology in every other scene by character just saying it out loud. Technologies are bad, and it gets really repetitive and boring and annoying after a while. And after you know why he's kidnapping this guy, it's really anticlimactic. You really don't care that much. The third episode is called Jack, Rachel, and Ashley. I feel like this entire season felt like a copy. It felt like it sprung off of the previous seasons or previous episodes, especially USS Callister. I see so much similarities from the first episode, and the third episode. And all of these 3 episodes, I would think the first one is the best one. The third one is second. The Smithereens I like the least. And all of these 3 have in common is that they all have a really long setup. The setup is so long, and the pacing is really, really slow. The first 40 minutes is just the setup, even longer. And then we come to it like a punchline, and then something happens. That's it. Black Mirror 5 is kind of a disappointment, but I'm still looking forward for them if they're trying to make more. I'm all for it. This is not the best season. That's it.
Child reunion concert, only to find out Beyonce won't be there.
We're gonna celebrate.
It's about 2 people connect over one night over a online dating app, and it's basically 2 characters talking in a house, and that's it. They have separate ideas and separate morals and values, and yeah, it's about a film. And I think No Doubt is that type of movie where you have to at least finish it to at least appreciate it in a way, because a lot of the time, the majority of the runtime, you really don't know where this is going, because it's basically people talking. Have you seen Sunset Limited? And there's this one point in the film where I just kind of checked out, but then you have to finish it and see the ending yourself to rethink the entire film and think what they're trying to do with these scenes and these little moments, trying to build up to something, to leading up to something. And then after that, you can like it or you can hate it. I thought it was okay. The script was apparently written in 4 days, 6 days. It was written in 4 days. It could do some more rewrites. This movie is, I think, will probably get compared to Collateral a lot, because it's a driver that doesn't want to be driving this guy that is apparently dangerous and is on a mission, but on that comedy spectrum. It has Kumail Nanjiani in it and Dave Bautista, so you kind of know what the tone is. I have nothing much to say about this movie. Overall, I had a great time watching it in the theater. I think the only thing that kind of caught my eyes is that it doesn't feel like the actors in this film are given the freedom to play. It feels like that they're restricting themselves on how they act, what they say. A lot of them are improv. It just feels like it probably the director or the filmmakers didn't give them too much freedom to play. They just stick with the script for most of the time and what the direction is going. So that's probably the biggest problem with it. But overall, I really enjoy Stuber. It's funny, and Kumail Nanjiani is fantastic. So yeah, go check it out.
Shot ever, and bring Goliath down to his knees.
Next up, we have the Hummingbird Project. It's based on a true story. You can just look it up. I don't want to spend much time talking about the plot, because if you're interested, or if you look at the poster and you like it, you'll probably go check it out yourself. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about the plot. It's based on a true story. The movie, it was not bad. It kind of caught me off guard when it comes to directing, because there are a lot of cinematography, a lot of moments. The performances that the director got out of these actors is kind of interesting, and the direction is not bad. It definitely has a vision, and it stick with it, and I can totally respect that. And how this movie is structured and paced, I thought it was really, really nice. But the only big thing that I can talk about is probably development of these characters. The film never got to a point where I felt so desperate for these characters, because they are desperate at a certain point in time, and then you're supposed to feel for them, and I never did, because the film felt like just a person telling a story instead of bringing the audience into that world to feel the emotions firsthand. And a lot goes to the sloppy first act. The setup of this movie, I thought it was really sloppy when it comes to characterization and their dynamics, and I thought that is the biggest problem with it. But I think the directing and the performances really made up to it. The directing is actually not that bad. It's extremely subtle and down to earth, really grounded. So I would recommend just stream it, wait for it on Netflix, or you can rent it, watch it at home.
In the circle of life.
It's not Lion King, it's The Lion King. I'm really confused about this movie. It's been like a lifetime since I watched the original Lion King, so I didn't rewatch it. I walked into The Lion King 2019 knowing minimum about the original Lion King, because I don't remember anything at all, almost just a little bit. And I walked out, my first reaction was, shit, that was a long ass movie. The Lion King 2019 is about 2 hours long. The original is about 90 minutes long. I didn't know about the runtime before both walking in, and I felt significantly longer for the 2019 because they stuffed a lot of things in there that doesn't really matter. There are a lot of pacing problems, and the visuals is just the best thing about it. If you want to watch the visuals, how cinema has evolved and improved over the years to this point where special effects looks real, if you want to see that on screen, I would definitely recommend it. If you go watch it on IMAX and Dolby, it's visually stunning. It almost looks real. But if you don't care about the visuals, just watch the original. Next one, we have go to the theater list. These are the films that I think it's worth the ticket price. You should definitely go check it out in theater and support these filmmakers and what they're trying to do. The first one being Midsommar. I loved Hereditary. I really liked that movie. It scared the shit out of me. So of course I was hyped for Midsommar. And this movie is a mindfuck. You can probably see a lot of similarities from Midsommar to a lot of other movies that came out previously, but overall, this movie I thought was a technical masterpiece. Everything technical it's just freaking brilliant. The directing, the cinematography, the editing, the production design, costume design, the color pattern in this movie is just freaking stunning. Everything from a technical standpoint is a masterpiece. The performance from our main character, Florence Pugh, that's how you pronounce her name, Pugh, I guess, is fantastic. Worth an Oscar. But she's so good that the Oscar won't even notice her because it's a genre film. Ari Aster is one of the best horror directors working today, and it's just such a joy to see a director sticking to his or her vision and then bring that to life, to the big screen. And it's just a joy to see this happen right in front of us. And this is definitely the kind of movie it's better talked about than to rewatch. It's better to talk about. The movie is really long. It's more than 140 minutes long, and the pacing definitely dragged, especially the first half, because a lot of the second act and the first act, of course, is always setting up these weird things that doesn't really lead to anything until the last act. Especially that first half of the movie is extremely slow, but the production and the technicality that is presented on screen distract us from being that. I remember sitting in the theater for 2.5 hours. I didn't feel like that, although it was pretty long. I was entertained throughout. So yeah, definitely go check out Midsommar. It's just pay the ticket price and support this kind of filmmaking. It's really exciting for 2019. Next one that is worth the ticket price is Spider-Man Far From Home. Of course, you watch it in theater because the special effects is fucking awesome. Yeah, it has Mysterio in it, so the special effect needs to be awesome, and it is. It's the Mysterio sequences is super awesome. I don't have much to say about this movie. If you want to see opinions, you can just literally go anywhere on FilmTube and Film Twitter. You'll see a lot of opinions about this movie. I don't have to talk much to it. The thing about, I would just a couple of things I'd like to point out. Mysterio as a character, I just thought that they should set this character up more in the first half of the movie. The character, it comes off a little bit underdeveloped, and also the stake can be a lot higher because there are a lot of scenes in there that in retrospect that I would just dead as cut it out, because there are a lot of scenes in there that are just for comedic relief or just to make a point. This is how the audience should think about this character, or this is what's going on. These are things that serve us in that way, but it doesn't serve the story, so I would just cut them out. So the runtime of the movie can be a lot shorter. Everyone is talking about, oh my god, this is the best after credit scene of the MCU. It's okay. It's okay, it's okay. The during credit scene was, it's fun, it's exciting, but it's not the best. The after credit scene, however, it's just weird. I don't get it. What the point is probably setting up future MCU movie, but I don't see the point just now. So yeah, overall I like the relationship between MJ and Peter and how they work together, and that is the main core of the movie, the high school drama that you like, and the Spider-Man, the character that we love. So yeah, go check it out. It's fantastic, the special effect especially.
Come on, you son of a bitch!
Next one we have Crawl. I watched this movie on opening night. I pre-ordered this ticket like weeks ago because I have faith. I had faith in this movie, and guess what? People seem to really dig it, and it's just fun. It's just such a fun, contained thriller where two characters are trapped in this basement, and just happens to be a bunch of crocodiles swarming around, and they need to get out of the situation, and it's so fun. It's hella fun. Our main character, played by Kaya Scodelario, okay? Our main character played by her. The character is really strong, and this character is it's given enough development to follow, and that's exactly what this character is. It's strong, and you can follow her easily. What I have problem with this is that there are shit that happens that just doesn't seem to have consequences whatsoever. Some shit happens, and then you'll be like, okay, you should be dead by now. But guess what? The next scene, she just pretends it never happened. So that's the continuity issue. I would say that they can definitely, you can argue that, endorphins kick in where the pain is so severe that you don't feel anything anymore. Yeah, I guess, but give it a little bit something. Get a little something to work with and make it more realistic, I would say. And also, I think the movie is a little bit too short. It's about 87 minute long. I think you could do two more scenes, maybe 5 minutes longer, to set up these characters a little bit more, have those dynamics being fleshed out a little bit more so that the following can get more exciting. That's about the only nitpick I have with Crawl, and overall, I enjoy the hell out of Crawl. Go watch it, pay the ticket price, and it's worth it. But if you see my baby, oh Lord, just in my head to go. Next one we have Don't Come Back from the Moon. This is it's based on a book. I believe it's playing. If it's playing in theater, please go check it out. Support these type of indie films. I really like the atmosphere of this movie. It's just great how they created the world and the atmosphere, and how these kids just interact with each other and having their problem blown out to each other. It's really mundane in a way. It's essentially a coming of age story told in a really interesting perspective. It's called Don't Come Back from the Moon, and what do you know? People do go to the moon apparently. So go check this movie out. The main performance is fantastic. It is so likable, and it's just so real. Not the performances, but everything about this movie just seems so real, and the pain and the suffer these characters go through is it's unbelievable.
Can you do this without getting caught?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Of course not.
Little Woods is another movie that came out a few months ago that no one seems to talk about. But everyone on Rotten Tomatoes are all over this movie. It has good review. I thought it was terrifically directed, excellently acted by what's her name, Lily James, and the other Tessa Thompson. They are fantastic in this one. The chemistry together is also, they worked really, really well, and it's really some of the best performances of the year so far. The characters in which they play is another thing. I think that they can be fleshed out a little bit, just a little bit more, to make us more invested to the movie. And there are a lot of subplots that I feel like they should, a lot of plot points I would say they really should spend more time on to give us a bigger context when it comes to story. But overall, Little Woods it's good. It's good. It got kind of dark, but it's real. Like, Don't Come Back from the Moon and Little Woods is that little movie that I really don't have much to say, but you just have to watch it to appreciate it. It's really good. It's good.
Let me just give you this advice. Song title: Hey Dude.
Hey Dude, are you sure?
Hey dude.
It's so much better.
Yesterday, directed by Danny Boyle. It's everything that Danny Boyle movie has: split screen, time lapses, frame rate, I don't know, Dutch angles, shit like that. Lily James is also in this one. She brought so much energy to this movie. I feel like she got that energy from Mamma Mia. Here We Go Again. She took that energy to here, and whenever Lily James is on screen, the whole screen just comes alive. The entire movie just shines from her. Again, this is that movie that you would expect from Danny Boyle. It has everything that a Danny Boyle film has. The editing, I thought it was terrific. The cuts are just raw and just dry, and it's just right in your face. I love the cuts in this one. The humor is on point. Ed Sheeran gets to be in a film, so I guess that's good. His performance is a little bit stiff though, but I guess that's okay. The second act, I thought the pacing is just a little bit slow, and the first act, the setup of these characters can be a little bit sloppy at times, but overall, what I love about this movie is that they're not trying to be anything else. It has a good concept and they told a good story from it, and that's all you need from a film like this. I walked out really happy. So go watch Yesterday, definitely.
Place like home.
Wild Rose, a movie that apparently no one watched. It just came out. It's still in theater, limited release though. I would definitely want to go back and watch this movie again. I only watched it once, so there are a lot of emotional beats. You feel like it's there. A lot of emotional beats that they're trying to hit. You can see, you can sense it's there. But I feel like I just have to rewatch it to complete my thought on it. It's definitely a good movie, but I'll put it in go to theater just in case. If I want to move it to must watch, I would make amends in the next catch up video. It's there. It's right there. I want to go back and watch it the second time to tell my full opinion on things. What I have to say though is that towards the end, there's like this perfect scene, the perfect note to end the movie. It fades to black, and then there's another scene, and then another scene happens where you think, oh, this is a perfect way to end it. It fades to black, and then there's another scene. It happens for like 3 times. I counted 3 times. All 3 endings could have ended. They all could have been pretty nice, but it just kind of dragged on for 3 times. So I guess you can take it or leave it. There's this one scene where our character is singing in basically an area, and the camera just starts following her, spinning around her, and something just happens in the background that I thought was brilliant. I just wish that they could have kept that creativity, that level of creativity throughout the entire movie, because that scene is just for that scene. It doesn't happen for another scene. So I'm putting Wild Rose here, and if I watch it and if I like it a lot more and I think it deserves a must watch, I'll do amends. Must watch. These are the movies or shows that I believe is must watch. These are the best of the month for many reasons. The first one being Stranger Things 3 just came out and everyone just all over that Scoops Ahoy and Baskin Robbins all of a sudden. I thought it was fine. It's not the strongest season. I still like the second season best, the first season, and then the third season is probably the weakest season of them all. But I think if you enjoy the first one and the second season, there's really no reason why you shouldn't watch season 3. Again, this is also that thing that where if you want to get opinion, you wouldn't get it from me. You can just get it from everywhere else. I thought the Russian subplot is a little bit too much. The Russian subplot, the ending is a little bit too much. Robin, played by Maya Hawke, the new character, I love her. The flow is a little bit jarring. The performances are all fine. And it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful looking piece of television from Stranger Things. That's it. This is the perfect example of what you can do with limited amount of budget, with limited amount of lighting and sets and productions and actors. You can make a compelling thriller. You can make a compelling drama and performances out of these actors. And the Standoff of Sparrow Creek is epitome of that. It has a vibe of Drag Across Concrete, a movie that came out a few months ago earlier in this year that I really liked. It has a vibe to it. The lighting and the cinematography and what is being talked about is kind of similar, and the tone of it is also really similar. And I really just enjoy this movie on how good it looks from just those easy sets and easy lighting. If you know what you're doing and have a group of friends or have a group of people that are passionate about what they do, you can do anything. And the Standoff of Sparrow Creek is just that. I'll put this on must watch, and it's definitely worth a watch and worth your time.
Madness.
The 5th episode. I call it the straight up masterpiece because the first episode is so intense and the 5th episode just wrapped up everything so well. The 5th episode, I thought it was just masterpiece. Chernobyl is a miniseries on HBO and it's just presented. It's just five episodes, each about 60 minutes plus or minus, but it's just some of the best pieces of television I've ever seen. It's beautiful. It's beautifully shot, beautifully directed and written. And it just dug so deep on the emotional turmoil that these characters, these real people go through when shit like Chernobyl happened, because it should never happen. This should never happen on our planet. And the 5th episode is told in non-chronological order. It's our character talking in court, and also we have flashback of what actually happened in that first episode that we don't get to see. And it's just straight up masterpiece, I thought. It explores so deeply into humanity by exploring characters that represents a friend, a lover, a mentor, a mother, etc. And it's so fucking dirty. This is a Sicario for me. Where you watch it, you want to take a shower. It's so freaking dirty that you want to kill yourself. It's so dirty that I don't want to go outside after watching Chernobyl. Performances are fantastic. Stellan Skarsgård in particular, I didn't even recognize him until later. I researched a little bit about it. I don't see Stellan anymore. I see a real character, and that's insane. The only problem, why English? Like, not a problem, but like question. Why is it in English? Why is it an English accent? Why we have Russian accent? Why not just put it in Russian and have subtitles? I don't know. I don't care. It's a good series. Definitely go check it out. If you watch the entire thing, it's about 5.5 hours ish. I don't know. Go watch it. Some of the best pieces of television ever.
Unarmed combat.
This is your belt. It is yours. It is sacred. There'll be a $15 charge to replace a lost belt.
Everything that I want to talk about this movie is basically, I made a separate video about it, so I will link on top of there, a card over there, anywhere, The Art of Self-Defense. I really liked it. All you have to know is that I really liked it. The humor is really cut and dry, and how it tackles the theme, the masculinity, the toxic that come from it. I love almost everything about it. I watched it twice by now. So If you want to know how I think about it fully, just click on the card. That's it.
Hey, you're Rick fucking Dalton. Don't you forget it.
This is Tarantino's 9th film or 8th film. I don't even know anymore. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yes, I think I watched Stuckman's video and I think he wrapped it up the best because how he put it, how he approached this movie, how we should approach this movie. He put it the best. So I'll also leave a card up there. Do I even need to leave a card to Stuckman's channel? But it just, I think what he said in that video where he talks about this movie, it's really on point. I don't really have anything else to add. I thought the movie is a little bit slow, and you can complain, oh, we have this slow attention span, blah 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 blah. You cucks that blah 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 don't know about movie, that you think the movie is long just because the pacing is slow. This movie is slow. From a guy who watched a lot of movies, this movie is slow when it comes to runtime because there are a lot of scenes in it that are not building up to anything. It's just moments and moments and moments. It's a tribute to, it's literally, the best thing I can say about it, it's literally Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is what happened. That's it. And as you may know, Tarantino is best known for his writing, his dialogue, and his violence in his movies. And this film never got to a point where I thought, holy shit, the dialogue is so good like Pulp Fiction did. But then again, holy shit, that third act is so fucking intriguing. It's so exciting. Also, the character of Sharon Tate, you can really take her out of the movie. It wouldn't change anything. Really, it wouldn't change anything except for that final scene, the third act. It wouldn't change anything. I feel like it's a ploy to get more people to watch it because it is played by Margot Robbie and it's a marketing ploy. It almost feels like that. But then again, it's called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and it's literally that. Nothing else.
好多了，好多了，好多了，再来点气儿，再来点气儿。
This is the last movie that I want to talk about in this video, and that will wrap this video up real quick. The Farewell is based on a true lie. I'm watching it again on Tuesday. It's coming. I really like this movie, and guess what? I'm the only person on YouTube that get to bash this movie if I don't like it. All right, just you know, one of the biggest concern I have with walking into The Farewell, especially when it comes to the review, is it has such good reviews. One of the biggest concern is that I hope that the critics and the people are not praising this movie just because it has different culture, just because it's not American, just because it has an Asian cast or different race, whatever. It doesn't really matter for PC, for political correctness, because the society is always looking for that perfect being that doesn't exist somehow. And you know, it's one of the biggest concern I have with Crazy Rich Asian last year. Are people liking it just because they like the filmmaking and it really gave them a good time watching it, or they're liking it because the society tells them to? That's my biggest concern. So if I don't like The Farewell, I get to shit on this movie because I am basically the main character Awkwafina plays. I moved to America when I was 16, 17, no, 6, something like that. So I basically grew up in Chinese culture. And what I can say about this movie, it captured the realism, the Chinese culture fantastically. It's almost 100% accurate. It's the most accurate in film I've ever seen from a movie studio that is American. And the film is shot so well. The everything from the technicality standpoint, The Farewell it's really damn good. But when it comes to the theme that and everything the filmmakers are trying to say, Lulu Wang, who directed this one, it's really close to heart to me. It's so accurate because it talks about cultural differences. It talks about Western and Eastern cultural differences and how we see things differently. And because in Western cultures, people might see people as individual, where in Eastern culture, we see people as as a group. We see people as group, so that when where shit goes wrong, people takes that burden away from that individual just for the sake of her or his own good. And that is some of the thing that I think about a lot, considering my background. And I'm not lying. I'm not even kidding. Before The Farewell even came into the picture, I was thinking of writing a script that deals with that kind of stuff, because I have similar experience with the characters in this movie. And I'm not saying that I'm just thinking of doing it. I'm actually writing it once I get the chance to do it, but not right now. It's not fully blown yet. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it. The Farewell. I really like this movie. I'm going back to watch it again. Pay the ticket price, and it's a must watch. So yeah, the Awkwafina is fantastic. Just by the way, this acting is fantastic. Almost, it's Oscar worthy for that scene. And she just proves himself of not only being an actor who is capable of being comedic, cracking jokes, being vile, being rude all the time in other movies, and in The Farewell she proves herself to be a really good dramatic actor as well. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and this video, and that's it for July. That's everything that I watch in July, and I will come back in August with the August catch up. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for subscribing and watching and whatever. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm working on the video. It's a long ass video. I'm working on it. I'll see you next time. Bye.